Okay, we're almost ready. Am I in? Will you let me in? How's this join? Can you admit me? Still trying to get in. There we're connecting. There we are. Okay, very good. Okay, back to the live stream. So, if all of you can see if we can get the camera, just sit here, please. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay. Yes. No, I sit in the front chair here. Give you a front row seat. Front row seat. Yeah, that's right. So, going to introduce Joe. All right, let me take control from here. I'll pull things up. Okay. So does anybody not know who this is? Okay. All right. You know, I'm glad Carmen pulled together Thanksgiving Shabbat. She said, wait a minute, Thanksgiving Shabbat, it falls right within the week of Joe's birthday. So let's put Joe and give him a cake. So we got him a cake and the turkey and the trimmings and the dressings and everything with it. And we have family and friends here with us. So I've got some questions I'm going to ask Joe, but first, I want to show you this little story. It appeared on German television just this year, where a crew came here to interview, and I thought it was such an effective story that I would use that by way of introduction for us this Shabbat. So let me go find the connection to it. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to go to the screen. Second. Good job. You're going to have to peek, but you know this one. I think you saw it already. So if you can't see it so well, you'll be able to get most of it. Let's see here. Give me 2 seconds to fix this here. See, there we go. Now it's working. Here we go. Deutsche Welle. May contain graphic imagery. We're all adults here. Okay. So you have a sense of what Joe went through in the place, the last of the camps. Joe, you were in Auschwitz, you were in numerous other camps, you were in Warsaw, and the cleanup of the aftermath of the ghetto. You've been through so much. I'm gonna let me see if we can get the camera on me. Do you have your mic on? Let's see. Does it pick him up? Check. Talking to the mic, just want to make sure. All right. So I'm going to ask some questions, and then we're going to go on right after that. I'm going to invite people to come up and give their blessings to Joe. We have time still ready. So we've got people can come. This is this. And the Federation coming in from Palos Verdes. So glad to have you with us. So there we go. Now I can see me. Okay, it's okay. I don't want to take the handle away from Joe, but good. So I'm doing this. I really good. I've got some young people in the audience. Got our young Abraham here also helping us with that yet. And there's things that came across my mind. And I want to be able to share it. Maybe I could make a little short reel that could go bounce around on the internet. There's so much bad stuff bouncing around, like Bin Laden's letter justifying killing 3,000 Americans because of some imaginary sins of the Americans. That's not Bin Laden. No. So, so that's the only way that our young people get this information today, and they have no background. They know nothing. So when they see this post, they think that's written. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to post. I use the Chinese TikTok, eggs, whatever, to get it out. But here's my first question. I'm number 7. I saw highly respected academic figures praising what Hamas did. And they said, they talked about the rapes, butchering, pregnant women, babies, all this stuff. And said they're creative and genius because they've been suffering for so many years, they had to take out their vengeance. So then I think about it. I sat once, many years back in meeting with your old campmate, Elie Wiesel. We went camp together at Camp Auschwitz. Former neighbor. They pointed out that upon liberation, the other prisoners, the nationals from other countries, prisoners from many nations, Poles, whatever, they took immediate vengeance upon the guards, the people around the camp. Right away. That was the first action. And then he said, now what did the Jewish prisoners do? They were liberated, trying to bury the dead, whatever they could. It's a body. All right, so I want to ask you, where did the survivors go to take revenge of the Germans and the Poles when they had the chance? Why not? Not your motivation. It's the other people who's motivated to encourage. Hamas motivates them to encourage them. Very important. Very important. And now another question. So 2 years ago, this Depense didn't make it. Jennifer Levinson here in Levinson. And if you remember back then, they donated the Torah cover that we have. And Ronnie spoke very vividly about how your story touched her and helped her to come up with problems. And today, you're going around the country still talking to young people. And it's been very tough for young people, that you could closure of schools, financial insecurity, nation in turmoil. So young people are very scared of what goes on. What do you tell the youth when you go around the school? What do you tell them? You want to stand? You want to go to the stand, Mike? Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay, we're going to move over to come to this mic, and it'll pick us up on the mic also. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Which one?
Yeah, this one.
This one here.
This one right there. Yeah, go ahead. So
First of all, I tell people today, the kids, is the only way to stop this is through education. And I talk to them, I tell them that 6 million Jews were murdered, 1.5 million children. They weren't murdered because they were criminals or did anything wrong, just because they were Jews. And today, we have a lot of anti-Semitism going on and Holocaust deniers. I call the Holocaust deniers as only crazy because the evidence is still in existence today. You go back to the camps, Auschwitz, Dachau, Majdanek, Treblinka, the ovens and the gas chambers are still there. was there. I saw every day you see people coming, buses from all over the world to witness this. So that's why I call the term, don't believe what they tell you. Just ignore them. And if you do hear something wrong, don't be afraid to report to the authorities. And that's what I tell them and what I went through. I let them know from my information, from what I went through. So that's why I say is only one is to education. Especially, I spoke to hundreds of thousands of students, and most of them, I would say 90% are not Jewish. So that's what I told them, and I was told that 70% of those kids never heard about the Holocaust. So that's my job today, is to let them know what happened. And what I hear from the students tell me, when they read books, is not the same as to listen for somebody who survived. So that's my job. Is today I go globally, talk to people, schools, and general public, and let them know what happened.
And one more question. I want to go to our own youngsters, our Jewish youngsters. Now, when I was a kid growing up in the United States, I was the only Jewish kid in the class, and I never felt threatened or bothered by anyone because I was a Jew. So now I get feedback from our youngsters. They're concerned about going to our universities. They'll be picked on as the villains. They're pressured into joining the mob against Jews and against Israel and against any kind of identification with Israel. And I heard just this week from the grandmother of a biracial youngster in Athens, when the mother was concerned and the grandmother was concerned, the school there are a lot of Arab students in that school, and he, as a biracial student, felt pressured and threatened, and so a lot of our youngsters feel this threat, this pressure. What is happening? We're afraid to go to the universities. Where is the university that will accept me, where I can be myself? So what do you tell our Jewish youth so that they will not be frightened? What can you tell them?
Well, one could tell the Jewish fruit is, don't be frightened. Just stand up. Don't be afraid. Just stand up to them, to the deniers. And don't be afraid. So tell them you were Jewish, and I never denied anybody. Everybody, a lot of people have been asking me all over. Sometimes they think I'm Italian, I'm Greek. I always say, no, I'm Jewish. I don't deny my heritage. So the same thing I say to these kids, just stand up. If somebody is against you, tell you something, just let them know you are Jewish and you survive. We Jews, we survive.
That's it. I think that's it. We're here.
That's right.
4,000 years since Abraham, we're still managing around.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good word. A very good word. I'm going to go now. I want to have some greetings for you. Let me call on Dr. Shmerny, please, and then so anybody else who would like to come up and give greetings to Joe, let's do it here up front. Okay, you're comfortable standing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good, very good.
Joe, they gave you a number 142584 so that your name would not be known, but you are
142,584.
same thing, 142584. Okay. Okay. So I suppose I should say one number at a time.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
You're resilient. You won.
Yeah.
You won for us. You represent Israel. The Jewish people is you. And it's interesting that in the parasha of this week, in a way, you are like Jacob as well. Jacob suffered a great deal. I think you probably suffered more, but he was resilient. At the end, he met the angel. the angel changed his name to Israel. You met the angel of death, Mengele, and you and people like you made it possible for the world to have an Israel. So you are resilient. You represent the Jewish people. We love you. Am Israel Chai.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I spoke, or I was in touch with the museum of the Holocaust Museum here in Los Angeles. Let me just put this away on the screen. I do it. Let's not share 1 second. Get over this like that. Okay. A second. I've got a letter for you. There we go. That's it. Here we go. So now let me go back to the share screen 1 second. Do it the right way.
That's key.
That's right. There we go. Okay. So greetings to Joe from Beth Keane, the director of the Holocaust Museum. Joe is the face of the museum. Whenever I open up something, email from the museum or the webpage, you're right there on the front page. They're going to send you a letter, official letter of greetings, but they wanted to get it here for today. So on behalf of the board and staff of the Holocaust Museum of Los Angeles, we're honored to wish you a happy 101st birthday. Thank you so much for everything you do. You share your story of survival, encourage almost daily, make a significant impact on our world. Your words resonate with thousands of students as you tell them to never give up hope for a better future. So pivotal in allowing us to fulfill our mission to commemorate, educate, and inspire future generations. We are so appreciative of your work and dedication to our community. Thank you for inspiring all of us every day. Wishing you a wonderful birthday celebration from the entire Holocaust Museum Los Angeles team, Beth Keane, CEO. I also have greetings for you from Esty Duenas, who, if you remember,
Yeah.
she retired from the Israel Bonds office, but
Bond.
every time you would be there and she would greet you. So she sends you greetings. Anyone else want to give a few words of greetings? Yes. Come from up here so we can go ahead. It's an opportunity.
His father and I were the best friends.
Yeah, work your way around. But better with best way you can. Yeah, she says the Iger here, who manages the events here for Federation. Welcome, greetings to you. Go ahead. Yeah, come to the speakers then.
I'm going to share a personal story. My father was in the camps with Joe. He was there through the entire time or most of it. And as a young child, I was told stories of what occurred. And we praise Joe now for what he does by keeping the word alive as to what happened so it will never happen again. But Joe is always, at least to me, has been a very brave person. In the camps, my father, his name's Joe Buddha, became ill. And when you're ill in the camps, your chances of survival go down quite a bit. And in order to, they would feed you, 1-2 meals a day. And Joe would, my father told me this one story. My father was very, very sick. They called it a hospital. It just was bunks. And Joe went up and got a second helping of food. And you think to yourself, oh, he got a second helping of food. That's very nice of him. Except for when you're in the camps, if you went up twice, they would kill you if they found out. And Joe did this for my father who was ill, fed them. They were together, both in the camps as well as at Liberation and also in Landsberg after the war. And what I'm trying to say is Joe is a brave person, not only today in spreading the word, but even in the camps when somebody was sick or needed help, Joe was there for them. I wouldn't be here today without Joe. My kids wouldn't be here today without Joe. And that's the important part. One kind act, many kind acts. They have a power of their own, and they affect people many generations down the road. And Joe's always been a good friend and a wonderful person. I've known Joe since I was about 6 years old, and I just wanted to share that. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Frank.
We've got a historian here,
Yeah.
one of the archivists for the Museum of the Holocaust in Los Angeles, Dr.
Yes.
Vladimir Malaman.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Over here.
Oh, dear Joe, yeah, you're a great person, but why Holocaust? Why Holocaust happened? It happened and other witnessed and other saw it when millions of people, because there were others, were killed. And it happened because of silence, because the world knew. They knew. They say they didn't know, but they knew. Western countries, America, all knew. So, and that happened because of silence. And any atrocities which happening now, terror, everything, it's also happening because they knew, they know, but they do nothing. Joe had a great perseverance and will to life. Without his will to life, he wouldn't have survived, but he survived. And now he represents not only survivors, he represents much more. He represents those millions who cannot speak, who cannot tell us anything, who cannot tell their stories, their terrible stories, and how they ended. But this is a collective memory that should always be preserved. And who can tell us this collective memory? People who survived. George just said he doesn't know what happened to his family, to his sisters, to his parents, to his brother. They disappeared. They vanished. Who will tell their stories? Who will tell stories people who survived, who did not survive, probably survivors? It's also their responsibility to tell stories not only about themselves, but also about people, millions who did not survive. So for me, Joe will also represent this collective memory for people who will never speak. Their terrible stories will mostly either forgotten or not known. That's why it's that much important to know about all tragedies. Tragedies repeat themselves and replicate themselves under other appearance, under other circumstances, and silence and indifference altogether allow this happen. So his mission is to tell his story and to tell stories about those who will never be able to tell their stories. So may it never be forgotten, and be well. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Your name again? Rami at the Sami. Rami at the Sami. Come on up. Good. I'd like to also acknowledge, we also have here, Barbara Trotter was a child survivor. He was the docent, right?
And he was
Right, when they were in the original location, yes. And then Inga Bruce, who was also a young child survivor who looked out for me when I was when I was in preschool. And you were among the youngsters who were helping with the kids in Frankfurt. Okay, go ahead, please.
Joseph, first of all, I want not only to congratulate you, the whole world that are witnessing your presence, your brain, your actual presence. What I always say is that God never sends us texts or emails and never calls us. God talks to us through people, through incidents. This gentleman today is a perfect example of what God wants all of us to hear. This is a gentleman who had no chance of living. Today at 101, he answers his phone. This is unbelievable. I want you to know he represents, this is what God, in my humble opinion, wants to say, that, there's always hope. There's nothing as impossible. God can do anything and everything. Number one. Number two, perseverance and having an intention to live. This whole life of Mr. Alexander can be summarized in he was intent, had the intention to live. He had a purpose. He has a meaning for life. And that is why he's here today. And fascinating thing is, the reason I'm here is another miracle. I know Joe so much for so many years, so are my children. Incredible thing is, out of so many years, I saw Carmen, who brought Barbara to my office 4 days ago, out of nowhere. And she knows how much I know and love Joe. He said, this is his birthday. We were so busy today, and my daughter here from New York and from DC and here. What I want to say is that what is the chance of them seeing Joe, someone they love, just completely miraculous? The whole message is God does miracles. This gentleman is a text and email by God. The guys, look, I exist. This is really, I cannot, even comprehend. This is honestly in a synagogue on a Saturday, all of you, this is God's text. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, Marcelo's also a doctor of mathematics. Got a lot of a whole bunch of smart people in this crowd. Okay.
My grandparents, from my mother and my father, were perished in the Second World War, and I lost many uncles also on both sides. Joe, thank you very much. First, for being our Gabbai for so many years in Temple Bethel. Under your guidance, it's been an honor to be with you. And the most important part, thank you for keeping alive the Yiddish life of Poland. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so on behalf of Hollywood Temple
I
Bethel,
want to say
let me give you a
something about-
certificate first, and then you
Oh.
I'm gonna give you a certificate. This is a temporary. We talked, Jennifer, remember Ronnie and Jennifer, I mentioned earlier, wanted to do a plaque of some kind. And so they still want to do it. We're gonna get you a nice plaque. So I said, let's run up something temporary, Jeff, to help print it off to our beloved Gabbai, Joe Alexander, on achieving milestone 101 in life, and teaching youth to never give up hope, Hollywood Temple Bethels, and printed Marcelo Kufrasa and my Emia's rabbi. So you have something.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We're still waiting for real time.
I want to say one thing, another thing I want to say. I've talked to hundreds of thousands of students, the high school students. When I tell them the story, my story, when I tell them I saw in Birkenau where people went to the electric fence to get electrocuted. I saw people being beaten to death. because they gave up. So lots of times the students ask me, did you ever think of giving up? So I told them, no, I never thought of giving up. I never lost faith. I never stopped believing in God. And I said to myself, I may have a bad day today, but I hope tomorrow will be a better day. But I said, never give up.
So I'm going to end up here. Let's put something music for you. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me 1 second. Which is here. Give me 1 second. I'll give you something musical to wrap up with. Give me. Okay, we're gonna make this fun. All right, the fun for you. Hold on 1 second. Gonna do this. Give me 1 second. That's gonna wrap our wrap. There we go. And here we go. Eurovision 1999 Happy Birthday song from Israel.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
השנים יעברו בכיף ושמחה ובאושר. Happy birthday to you, חלומות יתגשמו, אם נחלום ונקום עד הבוקר. Always, always, happy birthday.
So that's from Israel for you. It was from the 1999 Eurovision. Happy birthday to you. Your dreams all come true. I think they've managed to come true. The best dreams, happy birthday and good health. And let us all join in for Kiddush. We'll drink l'chaim. Do you have some vodka for us? Okay. To everybody, Shabbat Shalom, and let's all join in. Okay. Go ahead, we go down. Go. That's it, yeah. Maybe we get you a nice, let's just a reminder.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay.